45, 45 stood on a White House balcony a couple weeks ago, spewing bullshit about his opponent's plan for policing and claiming the coronavirus is disappearing. While hundreds of people watch from below, it was clear that his illness has taught him very little and that he will continue to lie and endanger Americans until Election Day. There was a chance for a strategic pivot by the squatter after he contracted the COVID-19 that would have helped him shore up his flag and approval ratings on the handling of the virus. After learning a great deal about coronavirus, he claimed, which he didn't, as he claimed during his stay at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, he would have chosen a path of responsibility by using his platform to educate the public about the risks of the virus at a time when U.S. cases are surging and doctors fear that the nation is entering a second wave. 9 days after he announced his coronavirus diagnosis, and hours before his physician said that he was no longer considered a transmission risk to others, but did not say he had tested negative, 45 chose his familiar tactics of basically living in denial, risk, and ignorance. 2 weeks after one Klan rally spreader event in the White House Rose Garden, he had held another on the South Lawn with no social distancing and no masks. This time it was before an audience of Black and Latino Americans, groups who have been disproportionately harmed by the pandemic. Rather than mitigating risk, 45 is planning at least three. Had already had three other Klan rallies: one in Florida, one in Pennsylvania, one in Ohio, or Iowa. Sorry. Basically, he stated that they were starting very, very big with their Klan rallies and with everything, as he again threw caution to the wind. In his speech from the White House balcony, and during his interviews with the right-wing outlets like the Rush Limp Dick radio show on Friday, he embraced the only political strategy he knows, playing to his base rather than attempting to broaden his appeal. As his campaign spirals toward Election Day, he still appears either unwilling or unable to see the huge drag that the public's lack of confidence has in his handling of the pandemic is having on the election prospects. A recent Reuters Ipsos poll that was released about a couple weeks ago showed only 37% of Americans approved of 45's handling of the pandemic, while 59% disapproved. The Pew Research Center found that Biden had a 17-point advantage over 45 when registered voters were asked who could better handle the pandemic. The squatter continued downplaying the COVID-19 that week, referring to it with his racist language as the China virus, and claiming that the U.S. will defeat it a day after he falsely claimed the experimental monoclonal antibody cocktail that he received from Regeneron was a cure, which it's really not. Science and medicine will eradicate the China virus once and for all, 45 said on Saturday. Well, at least this was a couple weeks ago anyway. Noting flare-ups in Europe and Canada, but not mentioning the rising number of cases in the United States. A lot of flare-ups, but it's going to disappear, and it's disappearing, and vaccines are going to help. 45's physician, Navy Commander Dr. Sean Connolly, said in a memo about the squatter's health Saturday evening that he is now at day 10 from symptom onset. Fever-free for well over 24 hours and all symptoms improved, I doubt it. The assortment of advanced diagnostic tests obtained revealed that there's no longer evidence of actively replicating virus, Connolly said, but he did not explain what advanced diagnostic test the squatter received, and the White House still will not say when 45 last tested negative before he announced his positive diagnosis early on October 2nd, which is an important context for knowing when he was contagious. Connolly has in the past seemed willing to bend to the political desires of a squatter eager not to appear ill and to quickly return to his Klan trails. This latest White House memo, coming just ahead of his planned Klan rallies, had continued to be opaque with the medical details about 45's condition, leaving many questions about 45's current condition unanswered. On Sunday, 45 claimed to be immune from the virus, and you can't be immune if you fucking tested positive, you fat fuck. Even though there is no evidence that people are immune even if they have been infected once, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which specifically cautions people against assuming that they are immune. A total and complete sign-off from the White House doctors yesterday. That means I can't get it immune and can't give it. Technically, the only way to be immune is that you haven't tested positive. I said, if you tested positive, then you're not immune. Very nice to know, 45 wrote, but you're a fucking moron, and you still will be. Which earned a warning label from Twitter for basically 45's Twitter tweet, which had earned a warning label from Twitter for violating the platform's rules about spreading lies about the potentially harmful information related to COVID-19. While the White House says that the squatters' health is improving, which it's not, doctors and public health officials are alarmed by the recent rise in COVID-19 cases, a trend that would accelerate as more Americans move indoors and the weather grows colder. The latest forecast from the influential coronavirus model from the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluations at the University of Washington School of Medicine projects that there would be nearly 395,000 U.S. coronavirus cases deaths by February 1st of 2021, which is more than 214,000 Americans that have already died. I think it's actually like 220 something. According to the data from Johns Hopkins University, we are all seeing increasing numbers of COVID-19 patients who are coming into our ERs who are getting really sick and requiring hospitalization and even intense care, said Dr. Megan Ranney, who is an emergency physician with Brown Emergency Medicine. And this is what they told CNN's Erica Hill in the newsroom that week. We're all deeply afraid that this is the beginning of that dreaded second wave. When asked on Saturday a couple weeks ago whether 45 should be resuming his Klan rallies, Democratic nominee Joe Biden said that the squatter should make clear that he is not a spreader, like Dr. Anthony Fauci said, referring to a recent statement from the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases that 45's Rose Garden ceremony for the dumb skank Amy Coney Barrett, his Supreme Court nominee, was clearly a super spreader Klan rally event. Secondly, I think it's important that he makes it clear to all the people that this should be socially distancing, Biden said on the tarmac in Delaware as he headed to a campaign rally in Erie, Pennsylvania. They should be on the. This is like a couple weeks ago, like I said, where he had headed to a campaign rally in Erie, Pennsylvania. They should be on the lawn. That's fine, but in fact, they should be socially distancing and wearing masks. That's basically the responsible thing to do. Basically, we're still deadlocked on the stimulus package. As 45 heads back out on his Klan trails, which basically are ending, attention in the Capitol this week will shift to the Supreme Court confirmation hearings for Barrett, which they already had, who will solidify a 6-3 conservative majority in the court on whether there is any hope of Congress reaching a deal on stimulus negotiations to help the millions of Americans who are struggling financially due to this pandemic. Shortly after leaving the hospital a couple weeks ago, 45 tweeted that he was halting negotiations on another coronavirus stimulus package. He then abruptly reversed course, leading his administration to present a $1.8 trillion offer to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, which she said was insufficient. She basically said, I would like to see a bigger stimulus package, frankly, than either the Democrats or Republicans are offering. This is what basically 45 is claiming on Rush Limpic's show after signing off on the $1.8 trillion proposal. White House Economic Advisor Larry Kudlow said on Sunday that Treasury Secretary Steve white supremacist Mnuchin may offer a proposal larger than Pelosi's recent offer of the $2.2 trillion, and that negotiation is still ongoing. I don't think the negotiation is dead at all, Kudlow told CNN's Jake Tapper on State of the Union. Kudlow had said that the squatter has always supported the core elements of the bill, bullshit, including direct stimulus checks to individuals and more unemployment assistance, small business loans, and aid for the struggling airline industry. I do not understand the intransigence from the Democratic friends, Kudlow said, referring to Pelosi's argument that negotiations are at an impasse without acknowledging that many Senate repugs have balked at the price tag of the latest White House proposal. It's just getting Americans through. It's just getting Americans through a difficult period of time. We've seen a flood of blockbuster improvement numbers across the board in the economy, but there's really no reason that we can't add to that some additional assistance to the next 3 months, he said. In a memo to her Democratic colleague Saturday, Pelosi said the $1.8 trillion proposal amounted to 1 step forward and 2 steps back, claiming that when the squatter talks about wanting a bigger relief package, his proposal appears to mean that he wants more money at his discretion to grant or withhold rather than agreeing on language prescribing and how we honor our workers and system. Crush the virus and put money in the pockets of workers, she said. The funding in the proposal for state and local governments, which are struggling with huge coronavirus-related costs, remains sadly inadequate. In a new letter that this past Sunday from a few weeks ago, Pelosi said there are still serious issues that need to be resolved, and we remain at an impasse, she wrote to her Democratic colleagues. Outlining some of her objections to the $1.8 trillion proposal, she said that the total funding in the bill does not meet the needs of the health crisis. Democrats object, she said, to a provision on testing in the 45 administration proposal that would delay funding to states unless they enter into a mandatory compacts that require legislative action. which she said could create unnecessary delay. Pelosi also argued that the level of money for territories and tribal communities remains unacceptable, and she said the proposal does not address the disproportionate impact that COVID-19 has had on people of color. CNN's Manu Raju and Phil Mattingly reported Saturday that some 20 Repug senators spoke up in opposition to the size of the 45th administration's $1.8 trillion offer during a call with the White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and the white supremacist Steve Mnuchin. Not all Democrats were pleased with Pelosi's decision to balk at the latest White House offer. Former Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang said that and basically he argued that another infusion of direct relief for unemployed workers is an overdue lifeline for millions of Americans who are suffering. It's infuriating that it's October and so many Americans are still waiting on a relief bill that should have been passed months ago. If I'm Nancy Pelosi, he says I would take this fucking deal. If I'm Moscow Mitch, I would take this deal. Yang on CNN's told CNN's Will Blitzer this couple weeks ago in the Situation Room, I have no idea why this is not being passed. Instead, they're grandstanding and playing politics while people are fucking hurting. Yang said so again. Nancy Pelosi and Congress, please. I know you hate 45, but the American people need relief, and this is a good deal for millions of Americans if we can get it done. And that is true. I said I said many millions of Americans are suffering, and they fucking need this stimulus deal. So if you like the video, give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, Rambin Mike, and also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video comes out, and thanks for listening.